officers or employees are in violation of Section 2-83A3 and 2-83B fair treatment of the Hawaii County Code due to the unfair treatment by the building department.
Going from 10 to 11 months to get a permit is an experience that I don't think serves our county well. It's just a huge economic suppression on our economy here to keep things in abeyance for so long. Now, in the process we encountered on this job, we ultimately ended up having 5 letters of corrections. And the inefficiency and ineptitude of a plan checker looking at a set of plans and coming up, well, here's one thing I want corrected. You send it out, I want engineering. We have to find an engineer. That can take weeks because they're all very, 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 very busy. Then we have to get on his schedule. Then we have $1,000 to $2,000 worth of expenses. Then we have to make corrections in the plans, reprint, and resubmit. Now, going through that once is fine. You know, I'm not here to complain about the codes especially. I'm here to complain about the process. And then when you get another plan check back saying, well, we want more engineering, just vaguely saying engineering is not a very efficient answer to anybody who's submitting a plan. There's load engineering, lateral engineering, all kinds of engineering goes on. Soils engineering. I mean, they're not saying what kind of engineering. They just say, give us engineering. And then 2.5 months later, you find out, oh, well, that's not the engineering we wanted. We wanted something else. And then a month or so goes by, and then they go, oh, well, we need some other stuff. I mean, this just went on and on and on. It's cost my client thousands and thousands of dollars. When you're renting a home to shelter your family while you're awaiting to build a house, the impact is substantial. And for many customers can be the difference between being able to build a home or not, because they figure their budgets very tightly. Now, the second aspect that I will be bringing evidence in involves impartiality on the part of Daniel Lee, who is the plan checker.
I was trying to find out where in any of those documents was anything that talked to unfair and not being impartial.
Now, I'm not objecting to the request for engineering, but I am objecting to the fact that in our process of trying to produce engineering to his expectations, he's providing engineering for free to other clients, other applicants.
So you're saying 23 years you've been dealing with the County of Hawaii?
Correct.
On engineering plans. This is the first time you've had all these letters coming back to you asking for additional information, which I read in your,
It's the first time we've had expectations of engineering, period.
Okay.
And but that's fine. That's fine.
Is it? You think it could be due to the fact that you submitted plans with a new building product that was not in use? Is that what I understood?
No, well, it's a building product that's been in use here for 20 years.
Oh, so it has been in use.
Yeah.
So you're not submitting building plans for something unique or different or?
No, we did our first building with these materials in the year 2000.
Okay.
Any statement at this point in time?
Mr. Rob Tucker, have we met before?
No.
If we could keep the testimony to the board, please.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Okay. So there's a number of inaccuracies in terms of the statement that was made, and hopefully I can address some of those inaccuracies. But I understand, putting myself in Rob's shoes, I understand that there is a lot of frustrations because it took 10 months for him to finally get a building permit. It's very difficult for me to swallow. You know, there have been times, as I said, where for similar reasons I have done calculations for individuals and only basically to get stabbed. And it's just really unfortunate that this happens. The bottom line is I approved his plans. The bottom line is I did not personally deal with Mr. Rob Tucker. And in terms of being inept, keep in mind that the total time, practical time that I can provide concrete evidence that I basically had 12 days to review his plans. After that point, plans were in Mr. Kerr's hands for 2 months. Plans were in his hands for 2 months. And then when he submitted the plans, within 6 days, I approved his plans. So that 10 months, I understand, Mr. Rob Tucker doesn't quite understand the full process, and this black box is a black box to him, but that's, the charges are being railed against me for being inept.
In this case, if there is a dispute over the technical requirements, whether calculations were required, whether this building material is appropriate in the county, et cetera, that is handled by the Board of Appeals, which has special jurisdiction to officiate over disputes regarding decisions by the Department of Public Works Director.
When you receive the packets that need to be reviewed, how do you determine the priority of looking at them? Which ones do you look at first? First come, first serve, or is there a priority that you go through in determining, you know, the way that you look at them?
On our shelf where the plans are stacked for the plan reviewers to review them, there's a certain order in which they are placed. So, you know, out of just fairness to people, we ideally tackle the ones that are, you know, the oldest, obviously.
Okay. I think that we do have the jurisdiction to consider issues that are within our jurisdiction, and that has been brought up as part of the petition. And so I would have, if it had come up, and it did not, but if it had come up, I would have not agreed with a motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction in this situation.
You know, we've all had our issues with getting plans approved. It's just ubiquitous to the process. And, you know, it's always a question of whose responsibility is it. But in seconding this, I really didn't see anything in the course of this that really showed that there was unfair treatment or there was partiality involved in the process. If anything, it just seemed that the whole process could have been speeded up if we just got a structural engineer outside of the county to do the calculations and submit those to the county.
Petition and the elements of the petition that talked about being unfair and impartial, what I heard were responses that had to do with things that were technical in nature, belong, in my opinion, in the Board of Appeals jurisdiction. I'm going to vote for the motion to dismiss in 2016-16, but I think that the department has heard me.
Yeah. I'd just add, I think that's good advice. So, I mean, but as far as this petition is concerned, maybe we should move forward.
So we have a motion and a second to dismiss petition number 2016-16. If there's no further discussion, I'll call for the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So the motion is carried. Thank you.